It's time for Debrief, your quick wrap-up of TRT World's top stories from the week.
I'm a diplomatic correspondent for TRT World.
You will hear my audio.
Ready. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to TRT World special coverage of the NATO summit taking place right now in the Turkish capital.
The world's biggest military alliance is at a crossroads. Almost 80 years after its foundation, NATO unity is being questioned like never before.
President Donald Trump's plane that has just landed here in the Turkish capital, Ankara.
NATO's footprint stretches across the alliance. Turkey's İncirlik Air Base remains a key NATO asset on the alliance's southeastern flank, supporting critical regional operations.
To meet the challenge, we need a transatlantic defense industrial revolution.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has just announced multi-billion-dollar deals to buy new planes and strengthen its air defenses.
We start NATO 3.0, which is basically a stronger Europe in a stronger NATO.
Turkey's military might, with the second largest army in NATO after the US, makes it a key player in European security.
It is a fact that the impact of these initiatives will remain very limited if allies such as Turkey, which are not members of the European Union, are not fully included in the Union's defense-related efforts.
And they're talking about the F-35 airplane, and it's the best plane, and everybody wants it, and we have to make a decision who we give it to. We're going to be taking the sanctions off.
Regarding the F-35s, Mr. Trump actually has a positive approach towards Turkey. God willing, when the F-35s are delivered to Turkey, the whole world will say that America has kept its promise.
Now, as Ukraine's president works to secure tangible results from the NATO summit, Ukrainians on the ground remain fearful of being caught in the crossfire.
Ukraine is running out of interceptor missiles. Its President Volodymyr Zelensky urging allies to take strong decisions at this week's NATO leaders summit in Turkey. Allies he's accused of taking too long to deliver the promised air defenses.
One of the day's biggest announcements came from US President Donald Trump, who said Ukraine would be given a license to produce Patriot interceptors domestically as it continues to defend itself against Russia.
A license to you to make Patriots, that's pretty cool, right? Larry? This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough. It's say, make them yourself.
Well, in addition to that, the 32 leaders from NATO member countries pledged $80 billion worth of aid, defense aid, to Ukraine, and committed to delivering the same in 2027. That was all part of the official communique delivered at the end of the NATO summit.
After 36 years as Iran's Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei is set to be laid to rest. His funeral procession will span 6 days across Iran and Iraq, marking the end of the public farewell to one of the Middle East's most consequential political and religious leaders. Khamenei's body has been placed at the Tehran Grand Mosala complex. Funeral processions will begin before he is buried in his hometown of Mashhad.
This from more than 100 countries have arrived in Tehran, but Iran says that no foreign guest has been invited from Europe. Iran says that any country that openly or even implicitly supported the US and Israeli war on Iran are not invited.
This building you're looking at is a research center at the Shahid Beheshti University in northern Tehran. It was hit in joint attacks by the US and by Israel back in April. But it is one of numerous civilian infrastructure sites that have been hit across the city. At the very center of Tehran is Inkilab Square, where all these people have gathered on the eve of the burial ceremony of the former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
There were 3 days of ceremonies in Tehran. Now Qom is the second city.
In an exclusive interview with TRT World's correspondent Kubra Akkoch, the top mediator said he hopes lasting peace between Tehran and Washington can be achieved within the next 2 months.
Are those talks going well? And how confident are you that there will be a final binding permanent deal?
Those talks are continuing as I speak.
Breaking news concerning the US, who have launched what it calls powerful strikes on Iran. Heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent civilians in an international waterway.
On the second night of strikes, US Central Command says it's hit 90 targets across Iran.
These attacks on Iran that the US launched late Wednesday, the second day in a row, were telegraphed well ahead of time after Donald Trump said that the current extended ceasefire with Iran is over.
It's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? We just hit them very hard. And I say we hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20.
In response, Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it's hit 3 American military bases around the Gulf this Thursday.
The U.S. is now reimposing sanctions on Iran's oil exports.
A massive crowd gathered Thursday in Mashhad for the burial of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. The message on their banners was unmistakable. The ceremony had been delayed for hours, and trains to the city stopped after renewed attacks by the US. Tensions between the two nations are rising fast.
Tit for tat needs to stop, right? A return to diplomacy is urgently needed.
Here's the news in brief, where we bring you even more top stories.
Weeks after Lebanon and Israel signed the US-brokered framework deal for a ceasefire, Israel still hasn't withdrawn from the areas it occupies. Instead, Israeli forces continue striking and demolishing villages inside the self-declared buffer zone. While another round of talks is expected in Rome next week, civilians in southern Lebanon continue to pay the price.
On the outskirts of Ramesh, Israeli tanks next to abandoned homes serve as a reminder that no one can leave or enter without the permission of Israeli authorities.
Israel now controls all of this territory. There's no Lebanese government presence here. Overnight and throughout the day, you can hear gunfire and explosions in the distance. Most of those explosions are detonations, Israel razing what's left of villages to the north, all the way up to its so-called yellow line, the boundary of its self-declared buffer zone.
Some families displaced from nearby villages have been allowed to take refuge in Ramesh, but Israeli authorities have mandated that they must be Christian. These families are sheltering at a local church, having nowhere else to go.
We are very poor. We were displaced with only the clothes on our backs.
Israel bombed our village because Hezbollah fighters were active there. Then Israeli soldiers entered our village and destroyed more than 70% of it.
The UN peacekeeping mission in southern Lebanon, UNIFIL, oversees civilian convoys which operate once or twice per week. They're a lifeline for people here who otherwise would be completely cut off.
We are inside our village, we cannot leave, we cannot go to anywhere. Okay, now we see ourselves also that we are alone. We are left here alone. So what's next? What are we going to do? How can we live alone? Even if we are here alone and we do not see our future. What's going to happen to us after that?
Over in Gaza, Hamas says it is stepping away from governing the Strip after nearly 2 decades. The group says it's dissolving the administrative body that has run Gaza's day-to-day affairs to pave the way for a technocratic committee to take over. For many Palestinians, the announcement brings cautious hope that daily life could begin to improve.
We wish from God that handing over this Hamas administrative committee brings improvement. We wish from God to be relieved from the tents, mosquitoes, mice that are eating us up and our children. This is not life. We are living in torture, death. We ask God that the entire world would look at us with an eye of mercy.
The political shift comes just days before the announcement of Palestine's first parliamentary elections in a generation. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas announced elections across the occupied territories and Gaza for November on Thursday. It would be the first parliamentary rule in 2 decades. Staying in the Middle East, French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Damascus was overshadowed by explosions. 2 blasts were heard in the Syrian capital on Tuesday morning, near the hotel where Macron was staying, just a short while before he met Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa. 1 person has been killed and 36 others, including police officers, have been injured in the bombings. The attack came just days after another explosion at a cafe in central Damascus killed 9 people. Syrian authorities are investigating both incidents and have arrested 1 person in connection with the latest attack.
We are not fooled about both the risk factors, but they are under control, and also about the desire of certain groups to prevent Syria's full and complete return to the community of nations. And I think we must at once stand alongside those who have been injured, continue to be uncompromising on security.
Despite the attack, the visit went ahead as planned, with France and Syria agreeing to restore diplomatic ties and sign a series of economic agreements.
And here's a taste of our features from the World Cup.
Now, as the World Cup moves into its final stages, Belgium's appeal has been rejected by FIFA after the organization lifted a ban on a US player following Donald Trump's request. Millions have reacted angrily to what they call a controversial decision to overturn the red card. FIFA's president defended the move, saying the organization's judicial bodies are independent. TRT World's Candace Cole is in Washington with more on this and on what fans think.
Folarin Balogun, the USA's star player. Balogun was red-carded after stepping on an opposing player's ankle during the US's game with Bosnia-Herzegovina, a call that did not go over well with US President Donald Trump.
That wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. That was 2 guys running full speed that happened to crash into each other.
The decision apparently came after Trump called FIFA chief Gianni Infantino, who presented Trump with a FIFA Peace Prize gold trophy in December during the World Cup draw in Washington, D.C. Trump's call now raising big questions about FIFA's loyalties and politics being injected into the World Cup. Belgium has expressed frustration, saying FIFA's explanation for their decision was not made public. UEFA, European football's governing body, issued a statement rebuking the decision, calling it unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable. As for the fans, they say,
I hope the FIFA officials just reviewed the play and it didn't matter who called.
As far as I know, we should have been suspended.
Didn't look like a red card compared to everything else that day, but the official gave it, so you stand by the official and you move on.
In a statement on X, Infantino says the decision to reverse Balogun's suspension was made by the independent FIFA disciplinary committee and acknowledged the conversation with Trump, but says he talks to other heads of state as well. He insists the committee acts autonomously.